Hi guys, this is Lashette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I am back after a while with my July reading wrap up, talking about the last of the books that I read in the month of July. Talking about the last of the books that I read in the month of July. Summertime disclaimers still in effect. My window is open because it is warm enough that I need the outside air. And I live on a main street on the first floor, so you may hear ambient noises, though I will do my best to edit out the majority of them. With that being said, I don't want this to be too long. Let's jump into my reading stats, as I always do when I wrap up the month. The month of July, I read a total of 8 books. I read 1,455 pages. No audio. No hours listened. My average rating was 4.125. And I listened to 2 own voices books. With regards to the genres, you know, I've been struggling. It's been a struggle. I guess I read, I don't even know what to call it, but it falls into that thriller suspense genre. So, and I've already talked about it. It's Ace of Spades. I read a contemporary slice of life, low fantasy, 2 epic or high fantasy, and 3 paranormal fantasy. With the formats, I listened to 0 audiobooks, 4 ebooks is what I read, and 4 physical books. The forms, I've read them in 1 novel, 3 comics, and 2 graphic novels, and 2 manga. For the audience, I read 4 adult books, 1 middle grade book, and 3 young adult books. Now we're going to get into the various identities. First off, gender identity. I read 7 books with cisgender main characters and 1 book with a genderqueer main character. With racial identity, I read 3 books with Asian main characters, 2 books with black main characters, and 3 books with white main characters. For the sexual identity, I read 1 female or woman love woman relationship, 1 male of male relationship, and 1 with a queer relationship. Onto the authors, I read 3 new to me authors and 5 authors that were not new to me. The types of books I read 3 standalone books and 5 series and 0 rereads. So that's 5 books from a series, or several series actually. Then finally, last but not least, the ratings. I read 4 4.5 star books, 2 4-star books, 2 3.5 star books, so a pretty decent reading month. Pages are low, but that's what happens when you read comics and graphic novels and manga. They're shorter page counts, but I wound up participating in Graphicsathon, which I did mention in my mid-July wrap-up video. So that's what most of these are. I did start some other non-graphic literature or genre fiction, but it did not work out that I finished them in the month of July. So Graphicsathon basically took me over with the assistance of the Realm of Comics book club, and that is by Ashley at Bookish Realm and Bree from the La Petition. Links to their announcement videos. The Realm of Comics book club is a book club we've been doing all year, and every month we have different comic books, graphic novels, or manga. Wait, have we had manga? Maybe not manga, but comics or graphic novels. And they picked out all of the books ahead of time, so I just got to read them in the month, so I'm ready for the live show. And I've been enjoying almost everything we've read. So, like, nothing has been bad. And this with last December, I was really into, I started a bunch of new manga series, and I'm trying to read those, at least one a month from each of those, so it's going well. And I've also, as you'll see in the coming wrap-ups and recent reads videos, that I've been finding new interesting looking comics or graphic novels or manga in my local library, so it's been working out well. These formats also have helped me with surviving the readathons that I love without burnout, so yay me. Now let's get into the books. The next book I finished, that was Children of the Whales Volume 3 by Abby Umeda, and this is a series I picked up because I saw that my favorite booktuber, Becca in the Books, was reading them, and I was curious, and I'm still curious because this series is just like, there's a mystery. The children of the mud whale don't really know about the world around them. They only know about this ship that they've been living on their entire life, travels on a sea of sand. The description of it says post-apocalyptic, so something happened to the world and that's how they wound up out there, but they don't really know. Things change up when one day they come across another ship that seems to be abandoned in the sea of sand, and they've never seen another ship, they've never seen another person, so they're just like, whoa. And they find out that the ship is not completely abandoned or derelict. There is a survivor on it, a young lady, and her knowledge of the world outside the sea of sand, it starts having a lot of the kids questioning things and questioning their elders. There are adults and older people on this ship as well, but not that many. In this volume, not a lot happens. Well, no. Not a lot happens to forward the story. In the previous volume, things occurred where, and conversations happened where it's like we start to unlock what is going on in the world, what's the rest of the world like, and we see other people maybe start to understand why the people on the mud whale are on the mud whale. In this one, there's more action and things happen emotionally, which I guess is interesting, but like what's really keeping me compelled to finish this series and continue is like, what is this mud whale? How did they get here? There is like this magic system that some of the kids have, and we don't quite understand that. I mean, the artwork is also pretty great. It's one of those I really wish was in color, but it's still pretty good in black and white. So yeah, we didn't learn much, but we are moving forward. It sort of kind of ended on a cliffhanger, not sort of, kind of ended on a cliffhanger, so I definitely need to move forward with reading this. Okay. I wound up giving this 4 stars. Like, just the tense atmosphere, the emotionalness is there. It's a little bit woo woo and a little bit mystical with some of the characters. And I think that's supposed to like show you the differences in personality. Like, some people are like head in the clouds and magical. Not that everything's positive to them, like the rose-colored glasses, but they're like, ooh, kind of hippy dippy. And then there's some that are super ridiculously practical. And it's just like, come on now, we live in a real world, not a simulation. Um, and then there's a couple of crazies, and I'm just like, well, wow. This is graphic and violent, so I definitely say it's for adults. And I, again, read this for Graphicsathon. I didn't pick any bingo board stuff. The next book I read in ebook form as well. And this is continuing for the Realm of Comics Book Club reads for the month. This is volume 2 of Something is Killing the Children by James Tinian IV. Werther Deladera being the artist, and Miguel Muerto as well. I forget who is who, but this is published from Boom Studios, and I think I might. Oh no. Miguel Muerto did the coloring, and World Design did the lettering. I do love this artwork. First of all, first and foremost, this is a horror comic. We're continuing the story from volume 1, which is basically that we're in this small town somewhere in the United States, and there's something that's killing the children. Like, the title pretty much tells you this. A young boy was having a sleepover with his friends, and he was telling this scary story, and come to find out, so they all go outside to go see this monster, which they didn't think is real, but come to find out there is something, and it kills all the kids except for the boy who was telling the story, and has continued killing children. In the midst of this, we have Erica Slaughter, who finds out about this and heads to this town to, I guess, save the children. We don't know exactly what's going on, but in volume 2, it gets a lot more graphically violent. Definitely for adults. This is like that slasher type, and I'm like, okay, I can get with this. I can get with this type of horror. I love the mask. Erica is that bitch. And yeah, so in this volume 2, we basically find out what's killing the children, and it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But we also find out more about the organization that she works for, House of Slaughter, and we meet another character from there, and it's just like, I don't want to say anything more. The plot thickens because this is not the end. I'm supposed to read volumes 1 through 4 this month, and I did, so I'll be getting to the next 2 in a second. But I wound up giving this 4.5 stars. I'm definitely hooked. The action went up. Okay, so the next book I finished in the month of July. I didn't exactly finish, but I read completely all that was available at the time. This is a webcomic I've been meaning to get to, and thinking about it, I could have read a different one that is complete. But it is what it is. Whatever. Alright, I read Seven Fates Choco by Hybe. This is a webcomic that I read on Webtoon. Hybe is a media company in South Korea, and they are best known for their music entertainment company Big Hit, which is where BTS, the group 방탄소년단, aka BTS, is under. There are many other Korean K-pop artists as well as now American artists under HYBE and under labels. Earlier this year, HYBE put out 3 webcomics for their 3 main K-pop idol groups, one of which was BTS. So 7-Face Choco characters are based off of BTS members. Having read this now, I don't know why, but maybe that will become clearer once they write more. There is also a web drama, or what? No, not a web drama. A like fan fiction type thing on Wattpad where it's just text. I attempted to read the beginning of that and I was like, yeah, no. This is a little too cheesy. The art for this is really awesome, but the story was kind of basic in general. It was unique for me in that this is a fantasy tale based, kind of taken from, I guess, some mythology around tigers in Korea. Now, tigers are very connected with Korean history and mythology. There used to be a lot of tigers on the peninsula of Korea, and I'm saying Korea on purpose because this goes for both North and South Korea, the tiger thing. And the peninsula is seen to sort of be shaped like a tiger. Look it up. Okay, so that much I do know. But this is a fantasy take on this tiger thing. The story, what is the story? The story is a young guy who is an orphan. He is tricked into opening this gateway which lets in Bum, which are like these evil tiger shifter magic people, it seems, and they start taking over the city or the country. That's the part that's a little confusing, the distances and whether we're in different parts of the city, because I think districts are mentioned but I'm not sure if they mean within the city. I don't know enough about Seoul, South Korea to be able to see if there are parallels. It's something about the story of the fate of 7 boys and the horrors and hunting that happens. I felt like the characters don't really give you a lot of BTS personality, so the question is like, why did they base this off of BTS? They don't exactly look like them. The bad guys come across as really dark and serious, and I thought from all the promo that this would be more a little darker and serious. Not too dark, because you know the fandom age range. The guys that we've seen so far are not, and I'm just like, but these things are hunting people and some of you seem to have or want revenge but are very unserious about that revenge. I don't know. So this turned out to be more lighthearted than I expected from the storyline, but again, we haven't met all of the 7 fates, the 7 members of BTS basically. This was okay so far. I know it's gonna start back up again in a couple of months, so we'll see where the story goes from there. I guess I wound up giving this a 3.5 stars because it was just okay. The next book I read, I got physically. I went to the library and they had it. Volume 3 of Something is Killing the Children. Now I can show you some artwork because, bam. These are, I believe, individual issue covers by Werther Deladeria. Not showing you spoilers. We're continuing the story, even though I actually paused because I forgot we were supposed to read all 4 volumes, because I felt like the story kind of wrapped up, or the arc kind of wrapped up in volume 2. So I was like, what else could possibly, I think a new arc is in part 3, but I was reminded. So the story about something, these kids at a sleepover, one is telling a scary story. They go out to see if it's real, and then all of his friends die and he escapes, and then other kids of various ages start going missing and others start popping up dead, and Erica Slaughter shows up to hopefully save the day. She is not really welcome in the town either, so there's that. And this volume, things heat up even more. As soon as I read it, I was like, oh shit, okay, so things did not really wrap up in the previous issue. It wasn't the end of an arc, because we go to the next level here. This is where I feel like we definitely have more world building. We get more about the House of Slaughter. We see more people from there. We find a little bit more about the House of Slaughter, and there's more death. We see more how the rest of the world stays unaware of these situations, and how kind of Erica deals with her coworkers, if that makes sense. This is when, once again, I thought, oh, it's the end of an arc. There was a really intriguing conversation at the end, too, that I'm very curious about. I gave this one 4.5 stars as well. And then volume 4, we go back in time. This is a prequel. Basically, we find out more about how Erica wound up with the House of Slaughter. We find out more about Aaron, how the house works, and a little glimpse again about other things in the world. It was very intriguing. I gave this one a 4.5 stars. This answered a lot of questions that I had, especially in volume 3. Oh, I'm all in on this. I found out there is another graphic novel that's kind of an offshoot of this, and it's called House of Slaughter, and so I'm going to read that eventually once I get it. It just came out this year, so did this. I'm doing Beat the Backlist, so I'm not supposed to be reading any 2022 releases unless they're on my anticipated releases list, but I didn't realize this was a 2022 release, and that this was already on the realm of comic books to TBR for the year. Then they were talking about House of Slaughter during the live show, and I'm like, I have to read that because it's fascinating. Faves in there. We'll see. I gave, I think, I don't know if I said, volume 4 a 4.5 stars as well. So that is it. Those are all of the books that I read in the month of July. Obviously, those last 2 volumes I also read for Graphicsathon as well. I did not read those for Graphicsathon because Graphicsathon was over, but those are the 2 books I finished. So I'm grateful to Bree and Ashley for introducing me to a plethora of different genres of graphic novels and comic books. How was your reading in July? I know this is coming up really late, so have you read any of these? Are you participating in the Realm of Comics book club? and leave in the comments below to let me know what you thought of any of these. And also tell me what was your favorite read in the month of July and why. If you would like to support me and leave a comment but don't know what to say, leave me a little knife emoji in the comments below for Something is Killing the Children. Like this video if you like this, subscribe if you are new, hit the notification bell so you know when my next video is coming. Getting back into editing. A lot of this has been filmed, so I just need to edit and upload. So a lot of things will be coming. Share this video so you can help me get more subscribers. Linked in the description are all of the announcement videos to the readathons I mentioned or book clubs I mentioned, as well as a 10% off discount code to my Etsy shop where I make bath and body products for mundane and magical purposes. If you're interested in that, go check it out. And guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.